Hello, I'm Russell Haslund with the Piano Outlet here in Coral Springs, Florida. I'm here today to talk about this wonderful, very unique Yamaha C5. Some of you may know, or some may not know, the C5 is Yamaha Conservatory piano, and it generally is a 6'7". However, this is a C5E. The C5E is actually 6'11", because for several years in the early 1990s, Yamaha decided to make the C5 a 6'11" size. And then subsequently, several years after, I think it was 1993 or so, they decided to make the C5 back to a 6'7", which it was previously, and then rename the C5E a C6. And there's a couple of things that I'd like to show you. If I get my tape measure over here. Because what's very interesting about this piano is that it's actually really the same as the C7, just a little shorter. And the C5 is actually the same as the C3, but a little longer. So let's talk about some of the measurements that can show you that and actually prove it. So if you come over here, this is actually a C5 over here. And if I measure this, if the camera can come over here and look at the measurement of this rim, the thickness, you'll see that it's just under an inch. It's like 7/8 of an inch thickness of the rim. Okay? So now we're going to go over to this C5E and measure it. And you're going to see that it's actually 1 1/8. So it's actually a 1/4 inch, a little more than a 1/4 inch thicker. Okay? So now we're going to go over to a C7 and measure the rim on a C7, which is over here. If you see, this is a C7, and it's exactly the same thickness of the rim as the C5E, which is also C6. The other measurement we're going to check is this here. How tall the rim is. You see, this is just about 12 inches here. And we're going to go over to the C5E. And we will measure the rim from here. And actually, this is a little taller, because that C7 over there is a little older, but this is showing that it's about 1/8 of an inch taller than actually a C7, the 6s, because the C7s in this age range would have the same exact rim as this. If you look at the C5, it's 11 1/8. Okay? So I went around and I said, okay, let me see what other pianos are 11 1/8 rim. And I went over here to this G3. Let's see if the G3 is the same. Okay, so C5 has the same height in the rim as a G3, because this is a G3 right here. So it's interesting. So this particular model, C5E, is very unique in that it's the only piano that I've ever seen in Yamaha's lineup that is a completely different model, and then changed over and then renamed and then put back or whatever, but this is actually a C6. So Randy, who's getting this piano in Myrtle Beach, is actually getting himself a C6. Anyway, this piano has a PianoDisc in it. I'm going to turn this on, and I'm going to review, since we have the piano all set up over here, on how to operate your PianoDisc once it comes to your house. I get lots of calls from people. I send these pianos out with PianoDiscs, and they call me and they go, how do you work this thing? Watch my videos. We'll make another one today. Okay, here we go. So this is actually Randy's iPad, and when you get a PianoDisc from us, I always request that if you want your software loaded into your own iPad, you send it to us. Make sure you download the app first, send us the iPad. Make sure the iPad is at least 32 gigabytes. Make sure that it's empty. make sure that the update feature is off, because you want to use this iPad just for the piano. You don't want to put any other stuff in it, and because you might lose the music and then you won't know how to put the music back in. So you want to get an iPad that's dedicated just for the piano. So this is actually Randy's iPad, and I set it up for him already. But basically when you turn it on, the main thing that you want to do is you want to get the iPad to link up to the Prodigy CPU, which is underneath the piano. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly what that is. We come underneath the piano. Over here. This is the Prodigy CPU. So you want to, this is what's going to connect to the Bluetooth with, because this is what makes the piano play. Okay, so let's talk about how that happens. Okay, so the first thing you do when you get the iPad and it's all loaded up with your music, you're going to go into settings. You're going to go into Bluetooth, which is right here. And the one thing that you want to look for is PianoDisc, silent drive, Bluetooth, audio. In this instance, it's already connected. Why is it connected? Because I connected it before we recorded this video. If it's not connected, it'll search it, and then you can press connect and it'll connect, and I'm sure everybody knows how to do that. Okay? So once that happens, we're going to go back out. We're going to look for the iQ PianoDisc app, which is right here. Call it up. You're going to go into iPod library. Sometimes it's going to go into something else, My Music or something else. You don't want to go into that, because when we load the music into your iPad, it's going to go into your iPod library. Okay? And there's several different types of software on here. When you see software like this, it doesn't have any famous artist pictures on it. Usually it's just piano only. If you see one like this, it has Frank Sinatra on it, and this is his album with the piano in the background. So that's what you call a famous artist series album. And then over here, you'll see something that looks like a little movie. That's video. So we'll get back to that in a little bit. So the first thing we're going to do is illustrate how to play just piano only. So let's call up something nice. Where is it? I saw some Rachmaninoff here before. So let's hit some Rachmaninoff. So let's just review some of the controls on here, okay? So right here you have your volume control. When you hit the volume control here, you see this little box here. Very, very important. Everybody forgets this step. Press this little box. You want to connect it to PianoDisc, silent drive, Bluetooth audio. If you connect it to iPad, this is what's going to happen when you press it. You hear that sound. You hear static. The reason why is that that's the signal that makes the piano play. And it's coming out of the speaker in the iPad. Well, we don't want that. We want that sound to go through the Bluetooth to the piano. There you go. When you adjust the volume, see how I do it with my finger? I move it, I stop, and I listen. If I want it louder, it's a little too loud. Let's back down it a little bit. Okay, so now let's select something a little different. Let's select something with a little, let's select a famous artist with the piano in the background. Let's see, I saw some Elton John here before. Let's see if I could find it. Well, we'll make it easy. We'll just do a search albums, Elton John. So if you want to search Elton John, there we go. And we could do Candle in the Wind. Here we go. Let's play. Now let me just talk about what I just did. When I initially turned it on, it was just piano. And the reason why is that the balance over here was set in the middle, okay? And generally speaking, when you play an album that has vocals on it, you want to hear the sound come out of the speaker more, because that's what the piano is accompanying. The company is not featured in this. It will be featured when he starts to play, but basically you want to have this volume balance control more towards the speaker so that you hear the speaker and the piano is in the background as accompaniment. So now we're going to press the Actually, we'll press play. If we want to turn it up. Now that's a nice balance, but we want to lower the volume, so we'll turn it on and lower the volume so that the overall balance. Okay, so that's a nice balance there. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play the other type of software that we have, which are the videos. Which don't have a lot of videos, but we do have a lot of albums. Okay, we'll go back here. Okay. Whoop. Okay, let's pick something fun. Tony Bennett is over here somewhere, and I love to play his videos here. And we will play this one here. I Love a Piano. Very apropos. Which is cool about this is that you can take the iPad, you go like this. You can press this, open it up.
I love to hear this play. The piano, the grand piano, it simply carries me away. Show me how to do it now. I love the fine way he plays his style. I love to.
Okay, the reason why I cut it off is that if I play too much copyrighted material, they will not allow me to show the video. So I would have to just send you links to it. But anyway, I think that pretty much wraps it up. The one thing that I want to talk a little bit about before we close this out is just the other part about this piano is the things that we did to it. So if the camera come over here on the inside, and we can show just how beautiful the inside of this piano is, because one of the many things that we do is we totally restring the whole piano. When we restring the piano, we're able to get inside, we can clean it just like it was when it was brand new out of the box. And remember, a piano like this new, about $85,000, believe it or not, and then you have to add the fact that they call this an exotic veneer. This is a mahogany. And you just don't see too many of them because they sell for 30% more than black. So very, very rare piano. I'm going to pull this out so you guys can see the inside. All the brand new tuning pins. How nice and neat, clean everything is. Because this is really essentially how a brand new piano would arrive to your home. But over here, Piano Outlet, you're going to pay a fraction of the cost for a new one. And as you see, out of all these pianos in here, I have just about every model in all different years. They range in price anywhere from about $8,500 for, let's say, a G2 and up. And we have actually every size in here today. We have every size from a G1 to a G2 to a G3, C3, G5, C6, this is a C6 over here, and C7s, got several C7s, I think 3 or 4 over here. Actually, some of them are sold, there's only one available. We have a CS2, which is an 8'2" concert grand, which is the same as the CF, which is the 9', just a little shorter, and we also have a CF. So right here today, we have every single size Yamaha ever made. Except for the real small ones that are made in China, but we won't talk about those because those aren't real pianos. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and click that subscribe button and read the back of my shirt. If you want to call me or text me, there's the number.